the book review from Hamis Kiggundu, Reason as the World is Masterpiece. Yes, and it's some time when you're getting advice, at the time when you're getting advice from successful entrepreneurs, successful businessmen, successful business mongols in the country. And at time when we're getting these tips, or from them when an author, a business successful man, writes something like this, it is to help us to get to understand what is happening in the world of business and in the world of reality. What's the social aspect wants and what it needs. Just a quick reminder, meanwhile, I'm Jerome Posonk on Facebook, Jerome Posonk on Twitter, and Jerome Posonk on Instagram. Why don't you follow me up there? And we can definitely get to link up and discuss more of the business. And away from that, and if you get us on Facebook, Smart24 TV, we are streaming live still, and then YouTube, Smart24 TV Space Live. Hit the subscription button. Do remember to as well. And the website is www.smart24tv.com for more of the services. How about if you can come and advertise with us? Plot 29A Commercial Road in Naguru. Bring those businesses and we can definitely advertise with you. We even have a platform with Chichicho Tunda. Bring your business, letter business. Jikuba abantu. They say to forget to funny client have enjaulo from all the businesses out there. Kuva business zona tujja kuziba ngazi advertising and okubanga tuzokuba mu faces of a client kunsimbi and samu. So away from that, it is high time we went to Reason as the World is Masterpiece. Okay, so yesterday we were starting up with chapter 3, Reason and Humanity. It's if you can actually read properly, it is Reason and Humanity here. Now, Reason, continuing with where we stopped with chapter 3. Based on reason, the human problem of survival might not lie in limited resources, but utilization and rationing, where we realistically have societies that throw away food in excess and have others that die of starvation within the same earth cycle of survival. Where do we go? This is a personal realistic opinion based on the reason, which may be a fact or not, depending on the realistic knowledge at hand and reasoning capacity of me, the writer, and you, the reader. So in most cases, the author says his opinions depend on two things. How you perceive it depends on one, the reasoning capacity of the author and the realistic knowledge at hand, as well as the realistic knowledge and the reasoning capacity of you, the reader. How are you perceiving the information? Because reason is one of because if you're I'm actually to take you back according to what the author reason is one ability to critically analyze, or to, this is actually drawing you back to chapter 1. Reason is even if you go in a dictionary description of reason has always been one's ability to analyze, to critically understand. Obana otuka wansi n'otula n'ogamba yes kino na kino kye kiriwo naye engeri gy'okiro endowooza yo ye reason yeyo, reason endowooza eri etya. How do you assess a certain idea? How do you assess a certain issue, a situation? What is your reading towards? How do you go ahead if you're faced by a certain situation? So based on reason, it is for a fact that the available resources are limited, or the problem may be the greed of some individuals. This is what we're actually talking about yesterday, that in most cases we would say we have limited resources in the world. But have you ever asked yourself, if we are to look at the reason, don't you think it is greed and selfishness of some individuals that societies and nations are actually having imbalances, or there is imbalances, social misfits or social imbalances happening? Because we are looking at scenarios here saying that, okay, we have limited resources in the world, and of which the limited resources may not be benefiting us as a country or as a society, whereby you would say ebyetaago bingi naye obuzibu ebiriwo nti resources ezisobola otuyamba mu byetaaga ebyo tezimala. Awo n'otandika okwebuuza nti naye kati obuzibu buli ku ffe oba ensi just eri unfair oba omutonzi tali fair. Naye nga wogenda n'otunuulira mu reason wotandika otuula wansi n'ogezaako okubikubaganya ojja kwekanga mu nsi muno mulimu abantu abalina omulugu gwa ssente abaluvu nti waliwo omuntu nga ye oba tugambe ali tagabaale kugamba omuntu ng'omutima gwe teguli open to sharing because it is a two-way thing. There is getting someone who has money and willing to share, and there is getting someone who has money and ngali selfish. So waliwo abantu abamu mu nsi muno nga ne waba aina plenty nga yenkaniddewa however much of stock they can have but they're not willing to share. Nga awulira bubi nti ng'alowooza nti weetoolako akatono ako n'akakuwa agenda yalowooza wanaakakuwa ogenda muyitako. So in most cases, if you look at why people are selfish, it's because people fear that when you get the opportunity to tap into what they have, you may be better than them or you may outcompete them. But forgetting that sharing is caring. And there is nothing that beats teamwork. If we are to share, netwewa magezi, netweyamba mu ngeri emu oba endala without criticizing one another or without having unhealthy competition. Nga kwegamba twekuba bwekubi. Tujja kwekanga ng'ensi ekulaakulanye nga ne resources eziriwo zetulowooza nti ntono tulina engeri gyetuzifunyemu. Based on reason and from the realistic historical facts, it is also true that this is a problem that has always existed since the creation of mankind, as there have always been wars for survival and territories. Kati wotunuliramu historical facts, wotunulira ku basajja nga ba Napoleon, but Hitler once threatened to actually rule the entire world. But my question was, how would he rule the entire world when he had not even stepped in Africa? Okay, he had some colonies. Germany had some colonies in Africa. But you would see, since time immemorial, no muntu even if it was a leader, ne leader eyayinanga territories nga 10. Ngawulira ntono territory newe ngawulira n'akatono ka territory akasembayo nga kalinga naggulu nakaketaaga to expand. So which shows you that based on reason and from the realistic historical facts, these things are not new. They are prevailing. If you're looking at reason and humanity, it is always the human nature that is defeating us. We are defeating our own selves. We are preventing our own development. Nti omuntu ajja kukiraba nti yes oli mugagga oba ofugidde ebbanga lino na lino naye okyayagala okufuga oba you're in this company waliwo omuntu omulala azze ayagala ku ideology ayagala kukola business yemu ku ezo olw'okuba nti gwe owulira oyagala sigala mu business weka ng'otandika okumulwanisa. So ate ono omuntu gw'olwanyisa alina abantu abalala bagenda ow'emirimu bagenda oyamba igwe bwe walema oyamba mu ngeri nti gwe maybe wagenda olaba nga abakozi be weetaaga bali 2 ne wabawo omulala ateekawo company naye ayambeyo abakozi abalala nga 3 naye gwe ng'olaba nedda ajja bakuyitako n'otandika omulemesa. So it is the human nature nti humanity is human beings are selfish in nature. Nti buli omu ayina omuntu ajja kujja maaso akugambe nti nkwagaliza naye ng'alina engeri gy'asanyukamu ng'ate olemereddwa. We've been through all these situations. Ng'omuntu akugamba I want to see you win. But when you're winning, their response towards your win is different. Naye ate wotandika okuluzinga oba once you start deteriorating, your business starts declining, personality yenge ekyuka towards you era business yo weegwa ojja laba abantu bameka bagenda okudduukirira kyova olaba bantu bajja tandika okukuba mu ango mu mawulire olabe nga buli omu alina byayogera agambe nti let me just give you an example with a musician in Robert Kelly. Robert Kelly was a musical sensation. The money, the fame, you know what comes to celebrity life, the glamour and everything associated to that. But you would definitely agree with me that we batandise omukuba mu kooti, even his former his ex-wife, former mistresses, people who were actually working under his camp, bo benyini be bajja okumukuba, bakukuba mu buli ango, benyini be bajjanga abajulizi okukuba, which shows you that the enemy is within. The enemy has always been within. Look at Idi Amin Dada. Idi Amin Dada was leading the army and one of Milton Obote's most trusted men. When he left the country, Amin just made a phone call that, please, hey, don't come back to the country. I'm now the new president. The enemy has always been there. So, which shows you the human nature of selfishness. One would say maybe Amin felt like he wanted to gain power and also fill the driving seat. Or others would say maybe Obote wasn't, was more tribalistic in one way or the other. So you could see, buli omu yali akivuga nga akizza ku kike. Amin okusupporting ensonga lwaki yateekawo ku nga akizza ku ludda lwe ng'alaga Obote yali omubi. N'Obote okulwanyisa Amin ng'alaga Amin yali omubi. So which shows you that humanity will never come to work together. Even if you look at, even if we have seen businesses that have thrived with people working together, we still don't learn. Nti mu businesses ojja sangamu abantu nga bana ba partner. Naye mu bba abana era mujja bbaamu oli agamba naye we mbavaako jja bayitako. Waliwo omulala ayagala okuyitako. So some people don't want you to prevail as a family. They want to prevail on a personal basis, which is okay. But how much is it affecting the growth of humanity? Okay. However, doesn't this stand as a formula? If so, then mankind can live in harmony. According to the author, based on reason, it is a realistic fact that we have witnessed developed countries like the United Kingdom, where British citizens, where being a British citizen is a reason good enough to receive all basic human rights and needs: free housing, food, healthcare, education, to free funeral services and at death. Where no British citizen is fighting for basic survival needs with another, they are not competing with each other for survival. If this has successfully worked in certain countries like the UK and Europe, can't it work for all mankind with collective rational utilization of the world's available resources? Katukizeeko mu Uganda. Mu Uganda wano, ojja kwekanganga ne MP gwe tulonze ali ku outcompeting oyo yamulonda. Nti omuntu wamulonda akuyambe oleme kubanga olwanirira for survival. You want social services. Naye ate watuuka mu parliament n'afuuka mulabewo. Ne weebuuza kati eggwanga ligenda kuggweerawa. Oli ajja kwebuuza obulabe butya. Gavumenti etaddewo ssente, mutudde ku kakiiko, ssente muzimanyi zigenda yamba abantu abatasobola kugenda mu malwaliro ga bbeeyi. Abantu basobole okufuna health services ku local facilitation. Igwe ssebo kubanga ate gwateeseza eggwanga. Mukutte ssente oguze mamotoka, oguddewo business za njawulo, muzimba mayumba, mutegeka pati okuyita abakungu balala. Have you ever wondered why? Omanyi, ebiseera bisinga people would say class attracts class, which is okay. There is a verse in one of Tupac's songs that says, even though we come from the same places, the money and fame makes us change places. Because oyinza obba wavaako n'omuntu nga mwenna mwakulira mu kyalo eyo nga kasente tewaali bulungi, naye mu kukula omu ku mmwe n'agaggawala n'afuuka w'amaanyi serebu adiringa n'abagagga bokka, which means agenda kyusa ne gy'abeera kuba agenda tandika odiringa n'abagagga. Naye which is, that lifestyle is okay. Naye waliwo ensi weetandika okwewuunyisa. Mulonze omubaka atuuse mu parliament afuuse cabinet minister for instance. Kati watuuka cabinet minister, government etandise oyisa ebiteeso, takyafaayo ku ndowooza y'abantu. Kati amanya nti nina emyaka 5, mu myaka gino 5 nina okuzimba ennyumba bweti, nina otandikawo business, nina ovuga emmotoka bweti, nina okgenda ntuwaringako e Dubai, nina olinya ennyonyi, nina okukola bino na bino. Abantu abakulonda wabasuubiza ebintu bingi, naye gwe olira oyagala kubanga abantu bubaavu. I think the selfish interest actually happens nti omuntu ayagala batandika omulwana bamukube mu mawulire, he's a successful businessman, ewaamaanyi nnyo, naye obadde ku sente z'abantu abakulonda zeweeyagaliramu. So which shows you that even those in power are not willing to allow us enjoy the benefits that come to us as human beings. Because I still wonder, in most cases I want to understand, what is wrong with human beings? Someone can kill you for 100,000. Have you ever been in a scenario where someone has better cars, a better house, naye nekitandika omuluma nti oli musanyufu ye tali, neweebuuza abantu baabaaki nga gwe musajja wattu oyinza obba buli ku makya olinnya kabooda ye yeevuga emmere okirira mutonninnyira wali n'oli akamere ko 2,300 ye agenda mu hotels za bbeeyi n'atuula n'atumya ebikoko bye oba kale ne watatumya ebikoko naye n'alya miiru ng'eri heve bulungi bijuisi bibangawo biki n'agendako mu kamasaaji agendako mu gym kwegamba maintaining a health ye egwe olwoliddeko kaceere n'olyako kanyeebwa akatonotono olweggulo ng'odda ku kikomando enkeera wakulaba ng'olinawe weeyongeddeko naye kaba katono katya ng'alina bizinesi no zanjawulo ng'atandika okukuba ng'atandika okukulwanyisa ne weebuuza kwegamba ye kimusanyusa okulaba nga gwe oli wansi we. We have people who always want us to be wansi waabwe. People want us to be begging for them. You know, we are in a world which is filled with competition, which is quite unfair. Waliwo omuntu nga ye essanyu lye lyalaba gwe kasita oba nga gw'oli wansi we kimuwa essanyu, gw'oli wansi we alaba nga Sonko buli wanajja nga ansabiriza kimuwa essanyu nti tayagala abeerekawo ng'akulaba nga oli independent. Ayagala kulaba nga gwe buli ddakiika omugaati ogujjawuwe ate wogenda ewuwo ogujjayo ng'atandika okulangira nti omuvubuka oyo asabiriza naye woofuna akasente ng'atandika okukuba ng'agamba yazijjeewa. So that is where you could definitely see why the other countries in Europe that we are looking up to. Ogenda kumacha na weebuuza. We are looking at our ministers, for instance. Let me just give a very specific example. I've always given examples here. During sporting tournaments, I'm being honest with you. During sporting tournaments, ojja kwekanga ba minister bonna abali mu sports activity, whether FIFA president, baani, bagenda mu nsi zino tugambe African Cup of Nations ne batuula mu bisaawe eby'omupiira. Oli n'agenda mu ggwanga nga South Africa n'atuula mu kisaawe n'awulira nga yes they feel comfortable, ekisaawe kirungi kirina services ez'enjawulo. Bagenda okuva mu South Africa oba tugambe Gabon oba mu Egypt ekisaawe kibasanyusiza oba kituddemu ekyomupiira ne bajja mu Uganda ne basaba gavumenti ssente n'otandika okugamba Nambole bagenda muzimba alabike nga bo alabike ng'ebisaawe biri ebyenjawulo. Ogenda okwekanga gavumenti etadde bilioni 5 esobola ozimba n'ekisaawe abo bonnyini abazifunye ne bazirya ne weebuuza what is wrong with this country? People are having selfish minds. Naye mu bwongo bwabwe nothing, they cannot actually have a developmental mind. Bagamba nti imagine building a stadium or a sports facility that is going to stay for the test of time. Now olabe nti wotuula, your country is recognized. It is in Uganda where people who are in power do not care about merit. They care about the money they are going to get out of power. Nti omuntu ajja baafuna ssente nga ye ekinene nnyo ekimusanyusa aziridde azimbyemu ebyetafaayo oba mwe musanyuse ne mba mwamulonda mu ntebe. So as we are looking at reason and humanity, this is where I'm actually putting you. Reason and humanity. Ebintu ebisinga ffe ng'abantu tulina okutuuka ne tutuula wansi ne twebuuza. Ebiseera ebisinga abantu abamu bajja kugamba okusoma ennyo kiyinza obba si kwe kutegeera ennyo. Nti ojja sanga omuntu eyasoma ennyo ng'ate omuntu ataasoma amusinga olowooza. Because bwe kuba nga kusoma nnyo singa abagagga abasinga mu nsi bonna baasoma ne bamalako babalina zi PhD oba masters. Naye ate waliwo abataasoma, waliwo abaakoma mu primary, waliwo abaakola mu secondary, naye nga development newomuwulira nga atandise okwogera ebigambo ebimuvaamu olabira ddala ng'asaanidde okuba nga alina degree oba ki. Because humanity and reason is just beyond, if I have to put it in my understanding, ebiseera ebisinga tulina otutuula wansi twekube mutima tugambe nti naye bino ebintu bye tukola bigenda yamba ensi omululu guno ogututwala wa. Let's continue with reason, and reason as the world is masterpiece anyway. So kembajeko ennaku yange endowooza. It is unreasonable of me to blame the West for exploitation of Africa. Now, this is what the author writes. It is unreasonable of him to blame the West for exploitation of Africa, to survive without blaming the Africans for failing to apply reason and utilize their resources towards their prosperity. Based on reason, the main question remains, are the available world resources limited or unlimited to satisfy man's wants? The question is, are the available world resources limited or unlimited? Webiri oba tebiriwo. Yewe bibanga webiri. Abantu babifuna. If yes, when the available resources are limited, for a fact, then we have to struggle for survival as a realistic fact. If the resources, like we say, are limited, then we have to strike to actually fight for survival. If no, when the available resources are enough or unlimited, then it remains a human puzzle within a reasonable perimeter to analyze, assess, and calculate on how best to collectively rationalize, utilize the resources for continuity of human and basic collective survival. Let's stop here for today. Let me even sum this up. Tujja gamba resources zili limited, tezitumala. Chovola, we are fighting for survival. Now, have you ever wondered, or have you ever asked yourself, put yourself in a situation when the resources are there. Have you ever been in an organization when they're telling you we have limited resources, so we have to utilize them? Notula Nogamba, okay, we have limited resources. Let's try to use them. Then after some time, Nebakugamba, now the resources are unlimited, Zuela, and then they start limiting you. Picture yourself in that way. Notuka kasera nebagamba resources kati zimala. Naye ate ne batandika okulemesa ate ozikozesa. Ng'ate lulyera zaali ntono nga mulwana ozikozesa. So it is the scenario that is happening in the world with reason and humanity. The fact is, we as human beings need to adopt sharing. We need to adopt a caring heart. But naye tulekera okubeera selfish munsi. If I win when you are winning, I think we are going to be happy, both of us. I've always been seeing people saying, I want to wake up one day when me and my friends go for a congregation or go meet up for a party, nga fenna tupakinze emmotoka ez'ebbeeyi. Naye ojja kwekanga ng'omuntu akyogera, wakulaba ng'odevelopinga, tayagala nakuweereza congratulation message alinda yeebuuza maama ye nga yakikubye. Ne bw'oba tonnakikuba nno ng'ayagala kulwanyisa. Anyhow, what do I know? But as far as I'm concerned, I'm someone who really doesn't care on whether you're going to fight me or not. But make sure when you're fighting me, you fight for yourself as well, because at the end of the day, you may fight something that is blessed by God. Away from that, I hope we pick something out of it. It is Reason as the World is Masterpiece. It is the book review from Hamis Kiggundu. Joram Paul Sonko, I guess it is that time of the day I get to refresh myself and get some coffee as well, get some massage, you know, situations like that. And anyway, for those that have been joining us from the time we did Kickstart off, Smart Means Business is taking a break. And we shall definitely get back to you tomorrow. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Ciao, adios.